Home Valley is a 3.5 million acre station perched on the western banks of the Pentecost River, right in the heart of the Kimberley. Now, I never miss a chance to stop in for a beer at the Dusty Bar and Grill. It's probably the best outback pub there is going. But Home Valley is also the perfect place to base yourself for all manner of adventures. The fishing on the Pentecost is legendary. You can throw a line in from your river camp down on the banks of the Pentecost, get out on a boat, or head north in a helicopter where the barra are literally on tap. Whether or not you want to go for a hike or just cruise and watch the sunset over the Coburn Ranges, Home Valley really has something for everyone.
It's hard to say where exactly on a map the Kimberley begins. Maybe it's the first boab you see coming from the east coast, or the first time you smell that strange perfume, petrichor and carbon, a helix of fire and rain. For me, it is the moment the D-Max crosses the mighty Pentecost River. Once you wet your wheels for the first time in Kimberley waters, baptize the four-wheel drive into this landscape, you have begun a journey that will stay with you forever. Home Valley Station is one of about a dozen that dot the Gibb River Road, and far and away the largest. It's about 120 kilometers west of Kununurra. Now that may not seem like a long distance, but you have to remember, Kununurra is already in the middle of nowhere. It is a refuge against the heat that simmers on every long horizon out here, and home to some truly epic barra fishing. I can honestly say I've never come back from the Pentecost empty-handed. Still, there is more to this strange land hidden behind every hill. I have to admit, I never bothered to explore Home Valley by foot. You get kinda lazy under a Kimberley sun. But I caught up with Vince and Alf, two tour guides on the property, to check out one of the lesser known gorges around here.
Walking, the ancient meditation. When you walk down a trail from waterhole to waterhole, you're literally taking steps back into mankind's history. When people roam this countryside from waterhole to waterhole, hunting and taking in the scenery around them. Here at Home Valley though, it's a little bit more relaxed than that. There are 7 walking tracks on the property, and they can take you all around to see this country really up close and personal. Now this morning I've come out on the Bindula Gorge track, and that leaves the homestead, takes you about 2 kilometers out to this awesome gorge here. And it's a different way to see this place. I find when you're driving through the outback, everything's whizzing past the windscreen. You don't really get the smells and the sensations that you get when you actually put your feet on the ground and just slowly move through here. You see so much more wildlife. You just feel a little bit more connected to everything.
The boys had something else on the station they wanted to show me. A cantankerous local that has yet earned a special place in the hearts of the folks that call the station home. He's a survivor, perfectly built for this landscape, a real Kimberley icon.
Alfie, what do you call this beautiful gentleman here?
Oh, so this is Moo, the mascot of Home Valley, or the face of Home Valley is Moo, just here. And so he's a lovely Brahmin, white Brahmin. Was raised as a potty calf on the station and spends his days, as you can see, getting along with the tourist here. And is quite fond of humans and knows that if he sees a car, all he has to do is flap his ears back and look nice and pretty, and you'd be able to give him a nice little treat there.
Good life, huh?
Yeah, no, he's really living it up here.
So these cattle are actually, they're built for this country, eh? Like
yeah.
It's a dry country.
Moo here is one of the 3 breeds that is best suited to the Kimberley region. And the other breeds, apart from Moo here being a Brahmin, is also the Kimberley Shorthorn and the Texas Longhorn.
Yep.
As well.
You don't see as many of the Longhorns, but the Draught Masters and the Brahmins, they can wear this landscape.
Yeah.
It's not like green pastures up here.
Yeah, everything's, built hardier and just equipped to survive in the Kimberley region here.
A few kilometers up the road is a spot that I've often snuck away to when even the relative calm of the homesteaded Home Valley is a bit too civilized. We used to roll our swags out on the rocks here, still warm at night from the sunlight radiating back out of them. You can always feel the past here. The past few hours, the past few billion years. They intertwine and mingle and tease our senses to a standing wave of primal nostalgia.
This is Bindula Falls. It's just up the road from Home Valley Station. It's actually on the property, and it's a pretty spectacular walk that you can do here at Home Valley. A little bit earlier in the season, you actually get water running over this, and in the wet, it's a raging torrent here. It's kind of hard to imagine when it's bone dry like this, but you can see what that water's done. It's moved all these rocks around, just pushed them along the course here, over the cliff, and into the waterhole at the bottom here. So when it's wet, this is a different world altogether, but now it's a nice hike. You get to see some beautiful sandstone, and you can have a swim at the bottom.
The descent into what looks like a Stone Age quarry is sparse. Few plants can withstand the maelstrom that pushes through here in the wet, shifting boulders as big as trucks with abandon.
Alfie, this is spectacular, mate. This is what they call an outback swimming pool, yeah?
Yeah, you're just your outback swimming pool just here. The depth is still unknown, and it's a great place just to come and to cool off for an afternoon.
Pretty awesome spot. I guess, you know, lots of the other water holes on the Gib, you get the tour buses coming through, it can get pretty busy in the middle of the dry. Pentecost is always empty.
Yeah, with Pentecost, it's only 16 k's from Home Valley, and there's no signs telling people where it is. So if you find it, you know, you slip into the small few that know it's here.
Life is short. Death is right over the horizon. To lie back in a cool aquamarine pool of water, staring up into the blank, pitiless blue sky, as far away from everything you know as it is possible to be. This somehow is where meaning comes from. Across the Bridge of Dawn, I drove the D-Max a few dusty kilometers up the Gib and up a scraggly track through the scrub to the edge of the Pentecost River. The sun was just breaking over the Coburn Range as we dropped our boats into the river, waiting for the tide to change, waiting for the Barra to go on the chew. The Pentecost is a strange, beautiful river. On the surface, it looks too placid, too barren to give up monster Barra on a daily basis. But as I've learned before, looks can be deceiving.
So Coxie, what exactly do you guys specialise in up here with Northbound?
Predominantly barramundi fishing. We're based in Kununurra, and we fish the Lower Ord River and Lake Kununurra, and also out here at Home Valley Station on the Pentecost River.
Mate, the Pentecost is a river that just gives. It seems really rich. I've never come away empty-handed from this place. It doesn't look like much, but there's some fish in there.
Oh, 100% there is, Carlisle, and where we're fishing today, the Killing Tree Pool, it's in the brackish end of the river, so we get the tidal fill and also a bit of fresh flowing down, so it's a perfect environment for the barra.
So the barra are basically waiting for fresh food to come up, and they're just sitting in the deep holes here?
Yeah, basically, mate. Yeah, more or less.
What else do you get up here besides barra?
We get a few northern mulloway and some threadfin salmon, sharks, mangrove jack, a bit of a mixed bag, but predominantly barra.
That's what you want if you're fishing up here. I mean, nothing fights like a barra.
Yeah, 100%. Barramundi are the iconic sport fish of the north, and that's what we're here to catch.
And there's a few tricks to catching a barra too. They're not a forgiving fish to catch. You can't just skull drag them in.
No, you can't. You've got to play them. So it's always what we say is a pump and wind. So pull back, wind down. And yeah, it's just a fair bit of technique involved and a little bit of luck as well.
I've fished a lot of times for barra and probably had a guide most of the time. Always fared better. I just think like with that little bit of extra knowledge and stuff, it definitely helps if you want to come up here and catch a decent fish and not just stand on the bank.
Yeah, well, it's you'd like to think so. It sort of cuts a lot of the hard work out to start with, so you get the local knowledge, and obviously you're not tying and techniques and whatnot. So we always like taking people out and showing them our country and what barra fishing's about.
You step onto the water, and every nerve in your body wakes up all at once.
It's funny, you never really expect to get a hit when you first throw the line out here, but as soon as I had a lure in the water, you start to get those tingles, you know, because it could happen any moment. Big fish just slaps that thing and then the fight's on. Oh, and we're on. Oh, love it. So he's taking some line. So the trick here is just to stay on top of it. Don't let them take any more. You just gotta stay real tight on these guys, and you don't try and pull them in the boat because they'll throw that lure the second you try and pick them up. So net is absolutely a necessity for these guys. I've lost a few trying to pull them over the side.
The barra that you lose are the ones that make the ones you keep so valuable.
That is a beautiful little barramundi. We just got here. I was saying how good it is on that first cast that you just never know what's gonna happen. And there you go. Little wonder on the first one. So this guy's probably still a male. They don't really change sex till about 80 centimeters or so. So this guy's a bit shy, but still a good fish. Danced for us a little bit. I'm happy. We're fishing for barra, we're catching barra.
The morning has barely begun and I already smell like fish. And that's living the dream.
This guy's taking a little bit of line. So the trick with these guys is just always keep your rod tip high. Keeps it bent like that, keeps some tension on the line, because they know how to throw a lure pretty well. And get them in the boat.
Well done, Carlisle.
Phew! Hey. Another beautiful barramundi. This guy's just a little bit too small. It's coming at like 54, so we're gonna put him back in the water so the next lucky guy can get him when he grows up and becomes a woman. You can tell by the colorings on this guy, he's come out of brackish water here. So fins are pretty clear, but they got a little bit of color in them. So the clear ones are salt. Once you get more color in them, that's when they've moved into fresh water. So these guys are sort of in between. But beautiful fish. Nice little fight at the end there. That's a little beast. He's putting up a good fight.
Straight to the boat in the net.
Now that's a fish right there. Beautiful,
Well done,
mate.
Carlisle. Great stuff.
That's what we want, mate.
Still, we like them.
Mate, that's a good fish. How big do you reckon that is?
Oh, it'd be mid-60s, Carlisle. Beautiful, beautiful barramundi.
Good eating size too.
Perfect, mate. Perfect plate size.
It's pretty good when you know at about 9 in the morning you've already caught your dinner.
The rest of the day is all for fun.
Yeah, everything's just fun now. So, all right, I reckon there's still a meatery out there with my name on it. I've got an 80 and a 90 and a few 60s and 70s in the Pentecost. I need a meatery.
Right on that. Well, no promises, but we'll give it our best shot.
Hey, come on. Yeah, just promise me. Just say I promise you'll catch a meatery.
I promise you'll have a good time trying to catch a meatery.
Fair enough, mate. That's a good fish. And we'll just throw them in the esky on some ice. Keep them nice and fresh for dinner. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty fish.
Come on, even a couple more wines in there, Carlisle.
Yep, there you go, mate.
Right on, mate.
Yes! There is nothing like the feeling when these guys strike, and then this guy was dancing for us so much. He must have jumped up about 3 or 4 times. And it's so scary because that's when you lose them. You know, they're jumping out of the water and they can shake those trebles right out. But yeah, nice little beast. Probably like mid-60s again.
Yeah, mid-60s again, another...
Going for the daily record.
We're close, we're pushing it.
Yeah, let's measure him up and see what he is. I mean, this is one of those fish that as soon as he hits the line and actually pulls some off the reel, you go, okay, yeah, that's size.
It's
eh?
on. 65. We're going 64 or 65, you make the call, Carlisle.
65, mate.
Pat and Zach were in the other boat, a little further up the river, chasing a shallow, rocky bank and having some luck when we heard a banshee scream out of his boat. What you're seeing here is a fish that Zach was calling $120, but I reckon was closer to 1.4 meters. Yep, that's the net breaking when Pat lands it. And yep, that's Zach's victory dance. Now I've seen some big fish in my time, but this beast was prehistoric. It's hard to believe that he pulled a fish this size out of maybe a half a meter of water. Barra are always full of surprises though. Before we had a chance to heave this horse onto the brag mat, Zach wanted to swim it a bit. It swam, right off the lip grips, back into the wild. But Barra and Tide wait for no man, and the game was still afoot.
In the shallows, right where they are. You know what, they're waiting here for that tide, I reckon.
100%.
Just waiting for the tide to come over the rocks. Nice double jump right off the top. I love a good dance. Yes, there you go. That's another good fish.
She's on fire, Carlisle.
Oh yeah. Safe.
Look at it,
Much
mate.
better. Beautiful. Yes, look at that. Mate, another good fish. You know what you're doing?
I'd like to think so. Thanks, mate.
They seem to be up in the shallows here, and the tide's going to come up in about an hour and a half or something. So I guess the theory would be they're waiting here for that to spill over the rocks, bringing all the bait fish and stuff.
Yeah, correct, mate. When we launched the boat this morning, we saw a lot of the bait was pushing down towards the rock bar where we are now. So obviously the barra have followed them.
Yep.
And both waiting for the tide to push up over.
Cool, man. Mate, what's your favourite recipe for these guys?
Personally, I like to keep it pretty simple. A bit of butter and lime and salt and pepper, and just enjoy the pure taste of the barra.
Yeah, nothing like fresh though, is
Fresh
there?
barra, mate. Straight on the pan. Yeah.
Awesome.
At most, we only ever keep one fish from a session, which means they'll be here next time.
What an epic day out on the water here on the Pentecost. You boys that live up here, you've got it just right, I reckon.
Thanks, mate. We're pretty lucky indeed.
So we've got a few fish, heaps of barra. I mean, the Pentecost has always been good to me. I've been pretty lucky up here, but I'm beginning to think maybe it's not luck, it's just a good river.
It is a good river, you're right. You're here at the right time as well. So
Yeah, so but all through the dry, it's good.
Our best fishing here on the Pentecost is during the dry season, yeah. Predominantly June, July, August.
Yeah, it's an epic spot. We've caught a couple good barra, and Zach got a horse, man. I've never seen a head that big on a barra.
It was a big fish. It would have been pushing 1.20 m for sure.
Yeah, like that's next level. I think they broke their net trying to land it in the boat.
Yeah, got it in the boat and then broke the net, and yeah, it was chaos there for a bit, but yeah, fantastic end.
I've always loved the Pentecost. It's just stunning to fish here. The weather's always beautiful. You got the ranges behind you, and it's just, you can't have a bad day out here.
No, we're extremely lucky, mate.
Mate, we all got fish out here today, and I got that nice 65, which is pretty much the sweet spot for cooking them, I reckon.
It's it's definitely the plate size, mate, 100%.
Yeah, so the boys up at the Dusty Bar and Grill are going to cook that up for us. I reckon that's the ultimate. Just come out here, catch your barra fresh, have them serve it up to you.
Yep.
That's living.
Can't go wrong, mate. That is living, correct.
I pointed the D-Max back to the Dusty again.
Two of the greatest pleasures when you're touring the Outback are catching a barramundi in the Kimberley out of the Pentecost River and eating said barramundi. I'm here with Nate from Home Valley, and he's gonna prep up one of the fish that we caught this morning for dinner tonight. So, mate, with barra, especially fresh barra, this fresh right out the river, you don't have to do much, do you?
No, not at all. Keep it simple. Let the flavours come out, just a bit of garlic, lemon juice, salt and pepper, and that's about it.
It's pretty easy.
Yeah, easy. It's just how it should be.
Well, mate, let's do it. Show me how it's done.
The best chefs understand axiom 1 of cooking. Keep it simple and fresh. I guess the same applies to beer out here. Keep it cold, keep it flowing.
Thank you. Wow, that is a feed. There's something primal, I think, about eating something wild that you just caught a few hours ago in the middle of the Kimberley wilderness. But that's what Home Valley is about. It's this utter wildness and 5-star cuisine right in the middle of nowhere. And that is a barramundi cooked the right way out in the middle of the Outback. Mankind shares a part of his brain with the crocodile and the leopard. It's the hunter, and it's buried deep within all of us. In some ways, it's what connects mankind to the rest of the animal kingdom. But just as much, it's what separates us. The hunter is what drove ancient man to seek out the horizon, chasing game. It's also what pushed mankind to create tools, hunting weapons, four-wheel drives, cameras. They all come from the same drive, the same passion. The trick is to harness that, to make friends with the hunter inside you, and to use that, because the hunter is what can push you out here, through the sweat, through the bull dust and the heat. And if you can harness that power, if you can make friends with it, it'll push your own horizons as far as you can go. Because ultimately, the hunter is what drives us all.